Hello everyone. This is part 2, Virtual Cultural Recipe Lab. And for this assignment, I chose poke, a classic recipe from Hawaii from Ono Hawaiian Recipes by Tani Nakamitsu. What you see being made in this video is a mainland take on traditional Hawaiian poke, which is a dish that is typically created using ahi tuna that is raw and cubed and then marinated in shoyu, sesame oil, sometimes sea salt, Hawaiian salt, sweet Maui onions, and occasionally limu or Hawaiian seaweed. And what we're typically used to seeing on the mainland for poke is a poke bowl, not just the poke itself. So traditionally, it is a simple dish that is focused on fresh fish, and there are different varieties of how it can be eaten or prepared. The most common, at least on the mainland, is in a bowl form. So on the mainland, poke bowls are a lot of times something that you'll create at home, and oftentimes interchangeable with what people will call a sushi bowl, given the array of toppings that you can also add in addition to what the traditional Hawaiian dish is. And in Hawaii, you can pretty much get poke anywhere, and you can serve it in bowl form, eat it by itself, or in any other cultural variety that varies based on region and age and availability and all kinds of different things. Poke is a really, really great example of how food traditions can evolve and change and adapt and still maintain that cultural connection, because the food is adapting and changing with the people who are still trying to embrace their own cultures while exchanging cultures with others in their immediate community. The author of the blog that came with the recipe referred to being able to go into a store and pick up some pre-made poke from a deli counter, much like we would potato salad or fried chicken at a deli in the US on the mainland. So traditional ingredients for Hawaiian poke are fresh raw fish, typically ahi tuna. It can be scallops, octopus, shrimp, anything else that's in season. And then there'll be shoyu or soy sauce to marinate it in, along with sesame oil and Hawaiian salt, sweet Maui onions, green onions, Hawaiian seaweed, occasionally chili pepper, and some toasted sesame seeds. Some more common modern add-ins are avocado, cucumber, edamame, masago or fish roe, furikake or seaweed seasoning, spicy mayo, sriracha, and rice if you're making it into a bowl. The bowl option is what I chose to do today because I was hungry and I thought all of those ingredients combined together sounded delicious. And traditionally, the emphasis is the simple, fresh flavors of the fish that really want to shine through. So I try not to do too much extra to mine. And you can add the sriracha mayo or yum yum sauce or any other toppings to the top of your bowl or to the poke itself. However, traditionally, the emphasis is on that fresh flavor that is naturally pulled out by the really simple sauce creation, or the marinade creation. So I tried to keep my ingredient list simple and my marinade as traditional as possible, and then just add it to the bed of rice and the additional vegetables that have very mild flavors that I thought would still go ahead and elevate the flavors from the fish. And I thought for this dish specifically, making those modern edits and those mainland additions and everything was a really great way to, while still trying to embrace the natural flavors of the simple ingredients combined. I felt like it was a really great way to do something slightly different from part one of this project, as a way to embrace that fluidity and those modern cultural connections and those communities that have been created and shared and are currently and actively adapting through sharing these types of foods. And although there are modern additions and mainland variations, there are still the roots of poke still remain in a lot of ways. And the specific size and shape of the cut is not as easy to do with the shrimp that I was using today, but with the ahi tuna, if you cut it while it's still frozen or just slightly thawed, you can get really nice, crisp, half-inch pieces, which is the traditional approach for preparation. So you chop up your fish and you mix it with the shoyu, sesame oil, salt, and onions. And then you'll sprinkle on the sesame seeds, green onions, chili flakes if you so choose, and any other optional toppings. You can toss it in a bowl by itself and eat it like that, or you can put it on top of a bowl of rice and eat it that way, which is what I chose to do for this project. With poke being an active and long-standing staple in Hawaiian culture, a lot of times the question that is asked is this about the simplicity of marinating the fish itself and whether it takes a while and if there's a lot of prep. This is actually a really, really simple meal, and traditionally it's consumed immediately after eating it, and you don't need to really chill it or marinate it for any more than 15 to 30 minutes, and that's completely optional. Within her recipe and her blog, Tani Nakamitsu talks about how poke is a classic and a staple, and you can find it anywhere, and it's eaten all the time, all over, and that the cultural exchange is always ongoing, and there are so many different shared cultures that have come together to create one community, and that happens a lot in Hawaii, specifically with other South Pacific and Asian communities. This is something that she emphasizes a little bit more in the blog that goes along with the recipe, is that some of the best neighborhoods and supermarkets and locations to find some of the best quality, best tasting, freshest, locally sourced ingredients are from Japanese, Korean, and Hawaiian either businesses or communities, and a lot of this comes from those three cultural backgrounds coming together to really blend and add to how poke is presented and shared in Hawaii, given the massive amount of cultural overlap. And you can, or at least it felt like to me in Tani Nakamitsu's writing, that she really does like to embrace traditional cultural heritage as well as share and expand and learn and grow and creating a modern community through food. And I would highly recommend looking at Ono Hawaiian recipes. Link below. And as a fan of all of these cultural cuisines, I was shocked that I did not know that would have been the place to get the groceries, but I also I don't grocery shop like that, so it never crossed my mind, which was a point of consideration. There's always something new to learn about cultural cuisine and how to interact with it and how to consider different ways to engage with clients about it. So I always like it when I have my own experiences, and I really enjoyed being able to cook for homework. That was great. This was particularly enjoyable. It was simple, and I just moved into a new place that has a smaller, limited kitchen, and being able to show a little bit of accessibility within the dish as well, with different rice options, and using a microwave and a really simple setup. It just really shows that you don't really need a whole lot to experience a world of cooking, because we share so many similarities, and I just thought that was kind of a beautiful thing that I took out of this experience that I wanted to share. And this was also delicious. I chowed down before I edited this, so thank you all and I hope you all enjoyed. I know I did.